Dr. Umar was on the podcast Hustle Over Everything, and he explained why he embraces voodoo. He said it comes under the umbrella of several different African beliefs, spiritual beliefs, and he follows one of them. So he explains why he follows voodoo. But then he was asked the question about when his school is going to be open and if there is going to be the African traditional spirituality, which is voodoo, taught in his school. And he says yes, and before the child comes to the school or attends the school, the parents have to okay that the child will be taught the traditional African spirituality. He said the child don't have to practice, nor the parents, but the child must learn it. Here's what he had to say.
Okay.
What's your views on religion in school?
Well, we will have one of our bona fide curriculums will be African spirituality. You don't have to practice it, but you must study it. So if you say, I want my son to go to FDMG, but he cannot learn about the ancestors, he cannot learn about the way African people worship God, he can't come to the school. No child is exempt from any aspect of the curriculum. And the reason I'm bringing this up is good. I'm glad you asked the question, because I've had supporters who intend to send their children to the school, but they want to exempt them from the African spirituality curriculum. Can't happen. They don't have to practice. They don't have to pour libation, but they must know why we do it.
Well, that's going to be a problem for a lot of people, especially those who are Christians or Methodists, Baptists, Lutherans, whatever. Because, like he will explain, and you guys will get to hear, African spirituality is woven into voodoo, which is a big problem for a lot of people. But let's continue. He will continue to explain.
Follow me. They have to get the instruction, but they don't have to participate in the practice. I had one father, he's a big supporter. He said, Dr. Umar, I'm a Christian. I cannot allow my son to learn anything about African spirituality. I said, well, he won't be able to come to the school. I said, it's a shame, and you need to check your hypocrisy. He said, what do you mean? I said, your son go to a public school, right? He said, yeah. They're being taught to worship white people. They're being taught about homosexuality and transgenderism. Yeah. They're being taught that African people can achieve nothing in the world. They're being special educated, medicated, mistreated. You was okay with all that. Look, you was okay with all that. But you're not okay with them learning about how their ancestors worship God, a system you know nothing about. He had to pause and step back. Yeah. He probably still not going to send him to the school. But I just want him to see the hypocrisy of a black man telling a black man, your son can't come to my school because you don't want them to learn about African spirituality when he goes to a school where he's taught everything about demonology.
So would you be okay with sending your child to a school, hypothetically, in that same situation where, let's say, like, you really want to send your child to this school, but they teach whatever it is, the homosexuality, whatever it is. Are you okay with that? Or would you actually want that your child to be exempt from learning those things?
Well, are we comparing homosexuality with African spirituality?
No. I don't want to compare it. I'm just using that because that's the example that you brought up. But you take away that stuff. Let's say it was a Christian school that you really wanted to send your child to, but you wanted them exempt. Like, would you be okay with them being like, you're not
a Pan-Africanist Christian academy? Because if it is a Pan-Africanist Christian academy, I know God gonna look like my children. So although I may not necessarily agree with some of the religious beliefs, I can tolerate it because at least I know they won't be taught self-hate through the imagery.
Got you.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a matter of parents' beliefs, really, because if you do not follow voodoo or you don't want your child to learn anything about it, you're not going to send them to that school. You're going to choose a different school. So I think it's a no-brainer. It's all up to the parents, whatever it is they choose to do with their child and how they want their child to learn about religion. Let's continue. But don't forget to hit the like bell, subscribe to the channel as you listen to the video.
What's the difference between African spirituality and voodoo?
Okay. Voodoo is one form of African spirituality.
Oh.
Just like you have many different branches of Christianity, you have many different branches
Catholic,
of African
Pentecostal.
spirituality. Absolutely.
It's a denomination.
For lack of a better
You
term?
could call it a denomination for lack of a better term, right? Under the umbrella of African spirituality. So, many of our ancestors who came to Haiti, if you would, they came from the region of Benin, Togo, Angola, some of those African countries. And well, all of us, no matter where we came from countries where African spirituality was practiced. Voodoo is that form of African spirituality that came with us to the islands. When we got to the islands, the slave master didn't allow us to use African spirituality, especially after the Haitian Revolution, right? Because the Haitian Revolution was founded on African spirituality.
African spirituality, particularly the religion of Voodoo, played a significant role in the Haitian Revolution. Voodoo ceremony sparked the revolution. A voodoo ceremony in Bois Cayman is widely believed to have triggered the start of the Haitian Revolution. Voodoo is a unifying factor. Voodoo was a unifying factor for enslaved Africans who escaped their master's control. Voodoo is a platform for resistance. Voodoo served as a platform for resistance throughout Haitian history. Voodoo is a means of preserving identity. Voodoo helped Haitians preserve their African identity and culture separate from their enslavement. Voodoo is a means of forming political and cultural ideals. Voodoo enabled people to meet together and form political and cultural ideals. Voodoo is a means of spreading pro-independence messages. Voodoo served as a venue for pro-independence speakers to spread their message. Francois Mackandal. Haitian voodoo priest Francois Mackandal inspired his people by drawing on African traditions and religions. He led a rebellion from 1751 through 1757. Voodoo ceremony. A voodoo ceremony at BWA Cayman is considered a major catalyst for the revolution. Voodoo priestess Cécile Fatiman presided over the ceremony, where voodoo practitioners are believed to have called on voodoo spirits for protection. Voodoo is a form of resistance. Voodoo was a way for enslaved people to restore their identity and resist Christianity, the religion of their enslavers. Voodoo was practiced in secret during slavery, and it provided a space for people to meet and form political and cultural ideals. Voodoo leaders. Many of the leaders of the revolution were voodoo practitioners. Many Vodouists were involved in the Haitian Revolution of 1791 to 1801, which overthrew the French colonial government, abolished slavery, and transformed Saint-Domingue into the Republic of Haiti.
Right, the Voodoo system. So I practice Ifa out of Nigeria, which is Yoruba culture. Ifa is a cousin to Voodoo. Very similar, but there are some differences. So the deities are very similar.
Ifa is a divination system and sacred spiritual tradition that is central to Yoruba culture. Origin. Ifa originated in modern-day Nigeria among the Yoruba people. Divination. Ifa uses a system of signs and mathematical formulas to interpret texts. A diviner, or Babalawo, interprets the signs to make decisions for important individuals or groups. The Yoruba believe that Ifa, or Orunmila, is the deity of wisdom and intellectual development. Ifa is an initiatory tradition, with initiates called Babalawo or Bakan. Ifa spread during the transatlantic slave trade to the African diaspora in the Americas, where it influenced religions such as Candomblé, Lukumi, Santeria, and Haitian Voodoo. Ifa teaches that problems faced by humans have counterparts in every realm of being. Some basic rules for living as an Ifa devotee include telling the truth, being trustworthy, and demonstrating humility. The Ifa paradigm of the cosmos has been used as a basis for building major cities in Yoruba culture.
Ogun. I am a son of Ogun. So in African culture, everybody in here is born under the protection of a guardian spirit. Your ruling Orisha, right?
Ogun is a warrior and a powerful spirit of metal work. He is also known as the God of Iron, and is present in Yoruba religion, Santeria, Haitian Voodoo, West African Bodin, and the folk religion of the GBE people.
The protection of a guardian spirit. Your ruling Orisha, right? Mine is Ogun, the divinity of war, iron, power, and justice. That is the Orisha that was evoked at Bois Cayman in Haiti that gave birth to the Haitian Revolution. In Haiti, they'll call it Ogun, you see. Because we had to hide our African spirituality, we had to tuck it into the Roman Catholicism and Christianity of the slave master. So we would assign every Orisha, or in the case of Voodoo, it would be Loa. We would assign one of these divinities to a Christian saint, right? So Mama Yemonja, who is the feminine principle that gives birth to all life. This is the energy that God created to bring forth life. She would be syncretized with Mother Mary. So when the white man walks into the church, it looks like you're honoring Mother Mary, but that's really Queen Mother Yemonja. You see, Ogu might be syncretized with Saint Peter. It looks like you're paying homage to St. Peter, but it's really Ogu. So we had to hybridize the system to hide it from the slave master.
Kind of like Constantine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so I believe, voodoo has gotten a really bad name through Hollywood, through miseducation. After the Haitian Revolution, the white man went out of his way to destroy the respect and the love and the adoration that African people had towards traditional African spirituality. And that's why when people hear the word voodoo, they think of zombies and raising dead people and putting hexes on people. It's not about that. Now, I'm Ifa, which is separate. Ifa is Nigeria. It's called Fa in Benin.
Fa, also known as Ifa, is a divination system that is a key part of Vodun, a religion that originated in West Africa. Fa is also practiced in other African diasporic religions, such as Cuban Santeria, and in religions like Voodoo and Candomblé. Origin: Fa originated in the traditional religion of the Yoruba people. Diviner: a diviner, called an Ifa priest or Babalawo, interprets signs to make predictions. Deity: the Yoruba believe that the Orisha spirit Orunmila, or Ifa, is the deity of wisdom and intellectual development and oversees the divination system. Use: Fa is used when important decisions need to be made. Adaptation: Fa divination has adapted to the needs of the communities in which it is practiced. Viewpoint: the Ifa worldview describes creation, space, time, and social and political interactions as all being inside of a calabash.
Voodoo in Benin. In fact, Benin is the voodoo capital. When I visited Benin, we actually went to the hometown of Toussaint L'Ouverture because he was from Benin. So a lot of your Haitians come from Benin, Angola, Togo, right in that area, Nigeria. Same thing with Haiti, Jamaica, same kind of thing. In Puerto Rico, it became Santeria, Palo, Lukumi, Voodoo, Ifa, Fa. These are all different names. Candomblé. These are all different names for different denominations of almost a singular African faith, in that they have way more in common than they have that is not in common.
And this is where you get Ifa Tunde in your name.
Right.
Ogun.
Absolutely. I got Ifa Tunde, Ogun Tade. This is a village. I might want to visit it if you get a chance. South Carolina. You fly into Savannah or Charleston. It's in it's in Sheldon, South Carolina, the Oyotunji African Village, oyotunji.org, OYOTUNJI. I went there November 11th of 2019. Had my first divination there, Chief Olaitan. He's now an ancestor, rest in peace. And he named me in communication with the divinity. So when God created the universe, there was one spirit that God allowed to witness all of creation. Only one spirit. That divinity is called Ifa, or Orunmila. Orun means heaven. Mila means messenger. Orunmila is the messenger of God. He would be the voice, the energy, not a man. And this is how African spirituality differs from the religions, because the religions follow a heroic human agency. Abraham came, Moses came, Joshua came, Jesus came, Noah came, Muhammad came. African spirituality, we're not required to believe in the divinity of any human being. It's all spirit. So Orunmila is a spirit that we've never seen. And it is through Orunmila. Orunmila brought the wisdom to man of the universe. Ifa is the universal system that controls everything in existence. So the name of God in Yoruba is Olodumare. Olodumare literally means the owner of the source of all creation. What is the source? Ifa. There are 16 feminine energies that God used to create everything in the world.
In the Yoruba religion, female power is represented by several concepts, including Aje, a spiritual and temporal power given to female divinity by the source of creation. Aje is a nuanced term that represents female power in many areas of Yoruba life, including religion, politics, economics, and domestic life. However, in modern times, Aje has been negatively associated with witchcraft and been attacked. Aje, a goddess of the marketplace who gave birth to wealth in the open, which is a reference to fertility and womanhood. Ocean, a female deity of love, fertility, and abundance. Ocean was one of the original 17 sent to Earth, and the only female deity. Jibadu, a female spirit in the Ifa divination rites who is considered the source of Fa's power. She is believed to offer protection to people, but her veneration is thought to be dangerous unless a person is initiated.
There are 16 feminine energies that God used to create everything in the world. 16 times 16 is 256. So there's 256 energy patterns that created everything on earth. You, me, the lights, good, evil, light, darkness, the fish, the water, the elephants, the plants, war, peace. Everything was birthed from these 16 odus or energy powers, forces, right? And then they multiply because they interact with each other. That's how you get the 256 energy patterns. Every one of us is born under a energy pattern that guides your destiny on this earth. And the reason the system is called E5, because E5 means destiny. Before you incarnated, before you came to the womb of your mother, you was in heaven. You sat at the feet of God and you chose a purpose for being here. When you were born, you lost the knowledge of why you came. And the reason we communicate with Orumila, because remember, Orumila witnessed creation. Orumila knows the end of everything.
So as fast as he is throwing these words out, I'm looking it up, and according to Wikipedia, Orunmila is the Orisha of wisdom, knowledge, and divination.
Orumila know when I'm going to die, when he going to die, how many kids you going to have, if you're going to live in Canada for the rest of your life, how long it's going to take for African people to reclaim Africa, how long the sun going to be in the sky, how long the planets are going to exist. Orumila knows everything because God gave him the wisdom to know the ends. So when you get a spiritual reading of divination, it is the spirit of Orumila that opens up your future, because Orumila already knows what's going to happen. God gave him that blessing. And Orumila communicates to the priest or priestess to say, okay, he's about to walk into a very good situation in the next 5 years, but he needs to do some things to make sure he gets his blessing and it doesn't pass you by. Because even though God has something in store for you, you can miss it if you are not living correctly. Thanks. There might be something bad in store for you, but guess what? Through certain sacrifices, you can actually avoid that. So with African spirituality, we differ from the world religions in 3 main areas. Number 1, we can do something about our future. Besides just praying about it, there's spiritual remedies, mathematically precise spiritual remedies to deal with certain things. We don't just have to pray. We pray, but we can also manipulate the forces of the universe to bring about a desired end in a way that is supported by Almighty God.
As you listen to the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, share the video. Thank you.
Right? Mm-hmm. So that's 1, divination. Number 2, the balance of masculine and feminine. Christianity, Islam, Judaism, God is always masculine. All power is in the hands of masculinity, not an African culture. God is the owner of the masculine and the feminine. So we can call on God the mother as much as we will call on God the father. So African spirituality still has the balance of male and female. And we would argue one of the reasons why there hasn't been more good done through religion is religion has deprived us of the feminine principle. Yeah. And the third reason, a third difference, and there's many, but a third one is ancestral veneration. In Christianity and Islam, there's no space for ancestors, even though you calling on all these people from the Bible. In our culture, our ancestors play a guiding role, and they can play a decisive role in our life and whether we fulfill our destiny. So being black matters. Being African matters. Being from my family matters. And we call on our undead, because nobody dies. Our undead, we call on them to help us, because in African culture, guess what? Our ancestors are our angels. They're the ones with the wings on their back. They're the ones looking over our shoulder. They're the ones who intercede to God on our behalf.
Is that where Black Panther took that from?
Absolutely.
Got you.
Absolutely.
Got you.
So the next question that was asked was, when is this school going to be open?
Next summer, though, because we need time to get ready. We can't do it that fast.
Sure.
But we right there. We dancing around the finish line. And, people always ask me, so what's going to be the date? I can't give a date. I've had like 6 dates and I violate every date. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because one thing this has taught me, when you institution building, don't give out no dates till the institution done. The biggest mistake I made was I thought I could predict. Nah. Wait till you completely done and then give out a date. But we right there at the finish line.
Listen, I do not want to be a naysayer or put water on the fire, but this has been going on now for 7 years, I believe. If you push it back to 2025, we're gonna be year number 8. Now here I'm saying he needs a new paint job, floors, doors. What the heck is going on? Why is this school not done? He had the building now, he said, for 5 years. Listen, I'm not a contractor, but I know it don't take that long to have a school building ready for inspection by the city. I don't know what's going on. Maybe he's waiting for more donations.
Floors and doors, and floors, walls, and doors, and we done.
Floor, walls, and doors. It sounds to me like if he bought a an abandoned building maybe, gutted it, and just wanting to put everything brand new. And he's doing everything a little at a time, depending on the donations he received. This is all alleged, but that's what it appears like to me. But then he got to think about, once the school is open, how is he going to pay the teachers? Tuition is going to have to be very high for him to do so, because he's not going to be applying for any government grants or subsidies, so he says.
Before you move on from the school, quickly, what's going to be your role? Because I know that you're all over the world. You're speaking to many people.
I'm going to be the principal.
Okay, so you're
Which
actually
means
going to
I
be
won't
there?
be able to travel as much. Yeah, I'm physically there.
Got you.
Because you got to remember, we're going to be tuition based.
Yeah.
You know, and so when people send their children to the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, they're assuming that they're going to get to experience Dr. Umar in the flesh.
Yeah.
So if I'm not there, number one, that's dangerous because I'm not sure my teachers are teaching. You follow me?
Yeah.
And number two, they don't really get the Ifa Tunde experience, right? So I'm going to be the principal, and I'm also going to be the history teacher.
And is that going to be your plan for like a long time, or are you going to kind of do that? And
As
then
schools come,
Yeah.
as we get more schools, I'm going to have to fall back, and I'm going to be more of a superintendent
got you.
than the principal. You follow? But I still plan to be the history teacher, even if I have to do so virtually.
How about psychology? Would you be involved in that as well? Because I know.
Well, I probably will be the school psychologist as
Yeah.
well. Although we will not have a bona fide special ed program. We will
Gotcha.
have programs for disabled children, but special ed is federal, which means that's public dollars. We don't take public dollars. So we will not have a public special ed program.
Got you. Thank you. Okay.
I've come to the end of this video. Don't forget, before you leave the page, hit the like bell, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so as yet. Thank you for watching.